All right, welcome back. It is a Wicked Wednesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. I'm John Tobacco. We lost all our buddies out on Biz Talk Radio after hour one, but kicking it live, going to breeze right through hour two here on this Wicked Wednesday show. And, I've been trying to catch up a little bit. Talked about the federal level. We've been talking about how small businesses are getting killed. They're struggling to reopen. And at the same time, Nancy Pelosi's down in Washington being the true swamp creature that she is, turning down $1.8 trillion of aid that could really help small business owners like the guys at Max. But meantime, they're playing politics with the money of the little people while she's got $100 quarts of ice cream in a refrigerator in a gated house in San Francisco. So, what everyone forgets, because of this pandemic, as I call it, our country was doing pretty darn good economically, that's for sure. And someone to who can break this stuff down even better than me joins me right now. Derryck Green joins me. He's a member of Project 21. And Derryck, I've been shouting from the rooftops for a while about lowest unemployment, highest minority small business owners, startups. Everything was rosy here. What the heck is happening?
Really what's happening is a lot of people are saying that the unemployment rate, the overall national unemployment rate, and the unemployment rate amongst minority communities is escalating because of the pandemic. And what I've constantly been trying to tell people that it's not because of the pandemic, it's because of the strategic response to the pandemic that's causing a lot of the unemployment rates to rise. And so what we're seeing is states like California and where I'm at has locked down the state twice in the last 9 months, which inevitably puts people out of business. And so, despite the amount of money that comes from Washington, it's still not enough to not only compensate the business owners who are employing people, but to pay their actual employees. And when people say the government needs to get involved, I just think that they don't understand the amount of cost that business owners incur. So the best thing for us to do now to stem this tide of rising unemployment is to simply allow the government, whether it's the state, local, or federal, to step back and allow business owners to set their own safety protocols, what's in their best interest and the best interest of the people who they provide goods and services for, so that the rate can stop escalating and kind of just settle and then decrease. That's what I'm calling for. But I don't think that a lot of people who are addicted to government, big government, see it the same way.
Yeah, look, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I'm at Max Pub. Because I'm a national television show, I am deemed an essential business because I'm reporting the news. I'm talking about COVID. I'm talking about everything that's happening with the elections. So they literally can't stop me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to put the long arm of government here in New York to the First Amendment test and
Good.
see if they want to tell me that I can't be in Max and I can't broadcast because, as far as I'm concerned, this is one big TV set right now.
Mm.
And if you want to crack open a beer on Liquid Lunch, that's what we usually do here. I usually
Nice.
drink something a little harder than this. And quite honestly, um, you have this thing, and I've been thinking about this, Derryck. You tell me what you think. We're talking to Derryck Green, member of Project 21, about all the great things economically Donald Trump's done for this country. But my view is this: AOC and the Squad and Ilan Omar and all these other ones, right? They're always talking about fighting against the 1%, that they're sticking up for the 99%. In New York City, we have a 99.8% survival rate on COVID,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it strikes me as funny that AOC and her crew, they're badmouth the people like us who want to open our businesses. And
Mm-hmm.
it seems to me like this is the one time where they're sticking up for the 1%
Right.
instead of the 99%. It's like bizarro world in a Seinfeld.
Right. Well, listen, there's really no consistency when it comes to leftism or their justifications for the positions that they take. It's the same thing here in California. We have about a 97, 98% survival rate as well. But the same people who are constantly lecturing the rest of us about income inequality are the ones arguing for extended shutdowns, which actually amplifies that inequality that they pretend to be in favor of reducing. And so when it comes down to it, it's usually people who don't have to endure the consequences of the shutdown. They're lucky enough to continue to be able to work, continue the paycheck, generally have a very nice size paycheck. It's the people who are on the opposite end of the economic spectrum who are bearing the brunt of the cost. Some of them aren't able to work from home. A lot of the minorities, particularly here in California, are working in grocery stores, service stations, and things of that nature, where they're constantly exposed to the dangers of COVID, but they're protecting themselves. And so what we really need to do is reopen the economy again, allow businesses and employees to determine what's in the best interest for them and the people who they provide goods and services for, so they can go and get back to work. Again, these are the people who don't take into consideration people who are having to work from home or not able to work, but still have to pay for their mortgages, their rents. They have people, their children who are in school where the schools are, shut down, and now their children are subjected to online learning. And daily, we see more evidence coming out that online learning isn't what they told us it was going to be. So there's a lot of consequences that the people who are arguing for extended shutdowns aren't taking into consideration because they don't have to endure them. And that's one of the consequences of leftism. They don't understand that political policies have consequences. They never have to deal directly with the consequences of their decision. The rest of us do. We need to start speaking up for people who are dealing with it.
Listen, I have to deal with it because I got to tell you, my son John is 14 years old. He's going to be 15 in a couple weeks. And quite frankly, I said, what's happening, son? Tell me what's going on at school. I'm talking about it on my TV show every day. Do you really want to go back to school? And he said, yeah. He said, Dad, honestly, you should go on there and say I'm getting dumber. Because, and like, this is a kid, right?
Right.
Saying, yes, I want to go to school.
Right.
And I am getting dumber learning at home. And he's not being wise. He's just saying, like, there's distractions. We could have our phone over there. They give you to work in the morning. You got to turn it in by the afternoon. So there's like too much idle time on their hands for them to actually be comprehending stuff. And I really question whether the governor or the mayor here in New York are wondering how badly they're damaging these kids from an education development standpoint.
Yeah, I don't think they're considering it, because if they were, they would open up the schools. Again, it's the same here in California. They've asked Governor Newsom multiple times why he's taking executive orders broadly in the state, but he refuses to do it when it comes to schools. And of course, he deflects because he doesn't want to give the direct answer, and that is because he's subject to the wrath and the financial contributions of the teachers union. These students are not only distracted at home, but you have to remember, teenage brains are wired for socialized environments. And so when they are isolated from that, there's consequences that are far reaching. And so not only are the kids not learning as much as they are, but again, we have the same people who are telling us that there are academic gaps between Blacks, Hispanics, and their white and Asian counterparts. But online learning broadens those gaps. So if they're never going to catch up being in school, they're never going to catch up being online. So we need to speak in defense of those people who are suffering the most at the hands of people who really don't take these types of things into consideration. Gavin Newsom has his children in private school right now.
Of course. The same Gavin Newsom who says, don't go to a restaurant. If you get together with your family, wear a mask between bites. And then, there he is in French Laundry having a $300 meal with a $1,000 bottle of wine.
Right.
With 6 people at a table with no mask on. So it's kind of like, that old Charles Dickens story, The Tale of Two Cities, is really happening. The two cities are the elite Hollywood and political class, and then all the rest of us suckers, if you ask me.
That's right. No, it really is freedom and liberty for me, but not for thee. And so I try to tell people all the time, how bad could this be if the people who are giving us the commands to stay home are immediately skirting their own commands to the rest of you? That sends a message to a lot of people, whether it's Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, multiple mayors, whether it's in Denver or Austin, Texas. These people are telling us to stay home while they go and enjoy the freedom that we are unable to enjoy. Again, it's not just businesses in New York or California. There needs to be multiple businesses that say, we are not shutting down because we need to provide for ourselves and we have an obligation to provide for the people who we employ.
Right.
They're in California. They keep
if you don't want to come to our place because you feel threatened or you feel vulnerable, then don't come. You're
Exactly.
welcome, but don't come. It's
That's
quite
right.
simple. All
That's
right,
right.
Derryck, listen, you're a great asset and resource. We got to have you back soon, hopefully. We're out of time right here, but Derryck Green, member of Project 21, spitting it real on how great this economy was and all the things that the mainstream media ain't going to tell you. We're
That's
telling you
right.
here. Thank you, my friend. Really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you. I really
we're
appreciate it.
going to take a quick break here. We're going to come back with some news of the day. I'm going to expose how the New York City sheriff is lying to the press and everyone else with categorical evidence that no one was identified as an officer when they came to arrest my friend Dan the other night. We're going to bring you that for the first time ever right here on Liquid Lunch after this.